let's talk about the nature of attachment. So what is an attachment? What you hear is said in non-duality circles is that if there's nobody here, then there's no attachment. And that's an accurate statement, because if there's no definition or no concept of a me, no identification with a me, no reference point called the me, then it's basically impossible to talk about attachment, because there's nothing here that attaches itself to something. But I don't want to take this approach at the moment, because it really gives us an opportunity to face attachment if we see the nature of it, and by facing it, by just seeing the way things are, including attachment and the nature of it, there may be the opportunity to feel that you are beyond any attachment. Let's look at the nature of attachment. It's the same in all instances. Let's first look at the option that there's no attachment. So, if there's no attachment, then life is okay the way it's happening, right? Life, it's okay. It's just okay the way it flows. There's no attachment to anything because you are with it. If we can use those words, they're all imperfect words, but there's no resistance towards what's happening. It's just happening, and there's no attachment. You can only be attached if you think about something that has already happened and then value it, and you say, oh, that was great, I want to have it again. Or if something happened that you didn't like, then your mind attaches itself to the aversion towards what it didn't like, and then projects that aversion into an imagined future where such a threat could again play its game and make you suffer. So there are these two possibilities, and often we forget that our attachment comes from the past, because we just look into a future, in a more glorious future than what we have now. And in that imagination of a more glorious future, we lose our natural agreement with what is happening right now. We feel right now is not good enough. So then we look for whatever thing is promising us more fulfillment in the future, and that's where the mind tends to attach itself to. Now, this imagination of a better future, let's say a better future, some people attach their minds to a future that's even worse, which can lead to suicide. I wanted to say that the attachment that we produce is also happening right now, like anything else. Our memories of the past are happening right now. The promising future is also happening right now in our imagination. So the mind produces this image of a better future. Now, because it is happening right now, how can we say that we are distracted by a future? We are not. We are not distracted by a future, because the future doesn't actually exist. But we are somehow distracted by the imagination that makes us believe that there's a future. So this imagination, called future imagination, or imagination containing the image or the belief into a future, this is what sort of distracts attention from its broad vision of what's happening right now. It isolates an event which is contained in those imaginations because it wants this event to occur so that more satisfaction is happening, or it wants to prevent a nasty event that it projects into the future, the non-existing future, not to occur, and it runs away from it. In both cases, the mind is dealing with imaginations, not with what's actually happening as far our sense perceptions are concerned that perceive the vibrations of creation. So, having said this, it's all not quite right, because, if I talk about vibrations of creation, of course, the imagination of this fake future is also a vibration of creation, but it is, in a way, not of the same kind as what we perceive through senses. Let's say the ordinary senses. Because, again, this is wrong, because if you talk about senses, we also need a sense to perceive that imagined future. We focus on this, by we I mean the mind. The mind focuses on an imagination that it believes represents the future, that once that imagination has come true, that means it has manifested as an impression that's really happening right now in the future, not only as imagination but as an actual experience. Let's say you want a partner and you dream about a partner. I'm longing for this right partner. This is in your imagination, and then you wish that this comes true, so to speak, and is an actual situation. As I say, that's the nature of attachment, and in that attachment we lose the view that includes the whole. Our mind is focused on a fraction that it calls a promising future, and loses the view for the fullness of what is already here. So how can a body-mind live in a world of appearances without imagination? It doesn't work. It's not possible. But it is possible to live in a world with imaginations that are not classified as attachment. Say we are hungry and we feel that we have to go somewhere to get food. Then we have to imagine the grocery store before we get up and go there. So there is an imagination of the grocery store that flickers through the mind and the way to go to it. And there's obviously nothing wrong with imaginations, but they are perceived like they are empty. They are perceived like mirages. They're perceived like being pervaded by nothingness or timelessness. So even an imagination about something that we plan to do is appearing in that timeless presence that is.